tonight, London is not silent. Outside number 10 Downing Street, thousands have filled the streets shoulder to shoulder, voices rising through the cold night air. Their chants carry a single message, a single demand: Keir Starmer must go. This is not a rally organised by party machines or lobby groups. It's a wave of frustration that has broken through years of quiet discontent. Nurses, teachers, builders, parents, ordinary Britons standing together, calling time on a leader they say has failed to listen. The scene here is tense but charged with purpose. Flags wave beneath the glare of streetlights. Cardboard signs read "Enough" and "Resign now." You can feel the anger, but you can also feel something deeper: exhaustion. A nation tired of excuses. And as the chants grow louder, one thing is clear. This is no longer a whisper of frustration, it's a roar of defiance. Just hours ago, Downing Street officials described the unrest as unexpected. But to the people here, nothing about tonight feels surprising. The cost of living is soaring, bills are climbing, and trust in leadership has collapsed. For months, Starmer's office insisted that Britain was on the path to stability. But what we're witnessing now, this eruption in the heart of the capital, tells a very different story. Britain's patience, it seems, has finally run out. In every direction, you can see faces lit by phone cameras recording, streaming, sharing. Social media is flooding with footage of this protest. Videos tagged "Number Resign Starmer" are trending nationwide within minutes. From Westminster to Manchester, from Glasgow to Cardiff, the discontent is spreading like wildfire. And the question on everyone's lips tonight is the same. How did it come to this? For months, frustration has been building quietly across Britain behind closed doors, in workplaces, in kitchen table conversations about bills, rent, and promises that never materialised. But tonight, that quiet has turned into a public reckoning. These streets outside Downing Street have become the symbol of a nation fed up with political theatre, a nation demanding answers that never seem to come. People here aren't chanting out of ideology, they're shouting because they feel unheard, because their daily struggles have been met with slogans instead of solutions. They remember every pledge that was made, rebuilding trust, restoring fairness, giving voice to the ordinary citizen, and they look at their reality now. Energy bills higher than ever, food prices unrelenting, and wages that simply can't keep up. Keir Starmer once stood before cameras promising honesty and accountability, but to many gathered here tonight, those words now ring hollow. They see a leader who speaks of unity yet governs from distance. A politician who claims progress while people sink deeper into hardship. And as the chants echo louder through Westminster, you can sense it. This is not the usual protest that fades by morning. This is something different. It's raw, it's spontaneous, and it's deeply personal. The anger isn't just about policy, it's about trust, about leadership, about whether anyone in power still understands what ordinary life in Britain feels like. Many here point to the same breaking point: the energy crisis. Pensioners choosing between heating and eating. Small business owners shutting their doors. Families struggling to make it through another winter while hearing speeches about green progress and long-term plans. To them, those phrases have lost all meaning. They say this government speaks of sacrifice but never shares it. They say the Prime Minister preaches responsibility but avoids it when it matters most. For months, public patience has been stretched thin, but tonight it has snapped. The result is what you see now: a wall of sound and frustration echoing against the heart of government. Across social media, the message is spreading faster than any official statement could. "We've had enough." One post reads, "He promised to fix the system, but all we got were excuses." Another says, "This isn't politics anymore, it's survival." These aren't political activists. They're ordinary citizens who feel the system has turned its back on them. In their eyes, this isn't rebellion, it's justice. They're no longer asking politely for help, they're demanding change. And their message is being heard not just here in London, but across the nation. Reports are coming in from cities where small demonstrations are beginning to form, inspired by what's happening here tonight. Inside Downing Street, the lights remain on, but silence dominates. No statement, no reassurance, just the same quiet corridors where advisors weigh how long they can wait before responding. But outside, patience has turned into fury. The crowd keeps growing. Chants are sharper now, angrier, louder. The night that began as a gathering has become a declaration. People have realised that silence achieves nothing, that calm appeals only lead to more deflection. For the first time in years, Britain's public anger isn't fragmented, it's united under one simple call: accountability. And the man at the centre of it all, Keir Starmer, has nowhere left to hide. As the hours stretch deep into the night, the chants outside Downing Street don't fade, they grow stronger. What started as a restless gathering has turned into something historic. Thousands stand shoulder to shoulder, their faces lit by phone screens and streetlights, their voices rolling through Westminster like a storm that refuses to move on. Starmer must go, they cry, a demand that now carries across the nation. It's not just a slogan, it's an outcry born from frustration that's been building for years. They're not shouting for spectacle, they're shouting because they've been ignored for too long. Inside Parliament, the tension is undeniable. Staff move briskly through corridors, whispers ripple through late-night offices. The message is clear. This is no longer a routine protest. Senior MPs check their phones, scrolling through footage of the swelling crowds, the chants, the flags, the sheer defiance. The pressure on Starmer is no longer political, it's personal. This is what happens when trust evaporates and leadership feels distant. Every chant outside the gates is an echo of the same question. What happened to the man who promised a fairer Britain? By midnight, news networks begin to cut into their regular programming. Helicopters hover over Westminster, capturing the glowing trail of people that stretches for block. Reporters stand in the cold, struggling to be heard over the chants. They describe the scene as one of the largest spontaneous demonstrations in recent memory. The nation watches in real time as Britain's political centre is surrounded by the very people it was meant to serve. Some hold signs quoting Starmer's own words, promises of reform, of renewal now turned against him. Others simply hold handwritten posters that read "Enough." From his office window, Starmer can hear it. The noise seeps through even the thickest glass, a reminder that no amount of PR management can silence public fury. Advisors urge caution, restraint, patience. But patience, as the crowd outside has made clear, is a luxury long gone. Reports suggest senior members of the Labour Party are growing uneasy. Some whisper that the Prime Minister has lost touch. Others privately admit what many have already concluded, that the confidence which once defined him has curdled into calculation. The protest outside is no longer just about energy bills or policy. It has become a reflection of something deeper, the feeling that Britain's political class has stopped listening. We were told to trust the process. One protester says into a reporter's mic. But what do you do when the process stops? Trusting you? Around her, heads nod. Teachers, nurses, drivers, small business owners, they've come from every corner of the country, united by frustration and a shared belief that enough is enough. Through the night, chants turn to songs, and songs turn to roars. Every minute, more people arrive. London's streets, once quiet under the weight of winter, are now alive with a single, unrelenting message. Leadership without empathy is no leadership at all. The images flooding social media are striking crowds waving the Union Jack not in celebration, but in reclamation. This isn't rebellion. It's remembrance, a call to return to the promise that politics was meant to serve the people, not the powerful. As dawn approaches, the question lingers over the nation. Will Keir Starmer step outside and face them? Will he listen to the voices echoing through Whitehall? Or will this night go down as the moment Britain realised that its leaders had stopped hearing the very people who put them there? The crowd doesn't seem to care anymore. They've waited too long for answers. They're writing their own story now, and it's louder than anything coming out of Downing Street. By early morning, Britain wakes to headlines that will dominate every front page. Downing Street surrounded. Protest turns national. Calls grow for Starmer to resign. The footage is everywhere, streaming across phones, splashed across breakfast TV, and replayed on news loops that capture every chant, every raised sign, every furious plea. The nation has seen this before, moments when discontent turns visible, but not like this. Not with such scale, not with such clarity. This isn't a fringe movement, it's a mirror held up to power. Political analysts begin to weigh in. Some call it the night Britain woke up. Others warn that it could mark a breaking point in public patience. Even inside the Labour ranks, dissenting voices grow louder. Anonymous. MPs leak their concerns to journalists. We've lost the people who believed in us, one says. And the Prime Minister doesn't seem to understand why. The Conservative benches, meanwhile, seize the moment. Spokespersons line up on morning news shows, pointing fingers, demanding accountability, calling for leadership that listens rather than lectures. But even as they speak, few can deny that the anger outside Number 10 isn't partisan, it's broader, deeper. It's the sound of a weary country demanding honesty in a time of confusion and cost. Inside government offices, the pressure mounts. Advisors draft statements, crisis teams convene, and aides debate whether Starmer should address the nation. But the timing feels too late, the optics too fragile. A Prime Minister who once prided himself on composure now faces the raw power of people who no longer believe in composure, who want conviction, not calculation. The Prime Minister finally appears briefly at a podium just after dawn, his face drawn, his tone measured. He thanks the public for their passion and insists he hears their concerns. But the words fall flat. Outside, the chants rise again. It's not words they want, it's change. Commentators describe the moment as a defining test of Starmer's leadership. Will he adapt or double down? Can he reconnect with the very voters who once saw him as a symbol of steadiness? Or is this the beginning of a slow, unravelling one where silence speaks louder than statements? Across the nation, cafes, workplaces, and online forums buzz with one question. How did it come to this? How did the leader who promised renewal become the face of restraint and indecision? In towns far from Westminster, people replay the footage, nodding not in surprise, but recognition. This wasn't just London's protest, it was everyone's frustration, concentrated in one unforgettable night. By midday, the crowds begin to thin, but the echoes remain. The images have already burned themselves into the national memory, a sea of people standing against the cold, shouting up at the seat of power. The chants may fade, but the message lingers, resonating through every corner of British politics. Leadership is earned, not inherited, and trust, once lost, is never easily restored. And so Britain watches, waits, and wonders, will this night mark a turning point or just another missed moment? Will Starmer rise to meet the anger of the people? Or will this be remembered as the day he stood behind glass while his country stood in the streets? Because tonight the question isn't just about one man or one government. It's about whether Britain still believes its leaders can change, or whether the people will be forced to remind them again whose voice truly matters. Voices grow rawer, faces tense with frustration. Some weep quietly, others shout louder, as if the volume itself could demand justice. Generations mix, young students, middle-aged workers, pensioners, all united in disbelief at promises unkept. The anger isn't just political, it's personal. We trusted him, one teacher says, but trust feels broken. Around her, nods ripple through the crowd. Parents clutch signs next to children bundled in coats, showing the human cost of political failure. Social media amplifies every expression, a mosaic of disappointment, defiance, and the raw emotion of a public forced to confront betrayal. As midnight passes, something shifts. The chants, once chaotic, form a steady rhythm, almost a heartbeat echoing through Westminster. Flags are raised higher, signs sway in unison, and a sense of collective purpose emerges. Britain speaks back. Someone shouts, and the words catch like wildfire. This is no longer scattered anger, it's clarity in motion. People march not just to protest, but to reclaim their voice. News crews capture the moment as ordinary citizens, unified in frustration, take a symbolic stand, the nation no longer waiting politely for change. Every camera flash, every chant, every step signals the turning point. The public will no longer be sidelined, and the message is undeniable: leadership must respond or face the consequences. From the streets, it's clear this isn't just a protest, it's a reflection of years of frustration boiling over. As a reporter standing amid the crowd, you feel the pulse of public anger, but also its intelligence. These aren't random chants, they're questions, demands, a reckoning. Starmer's leadership, once seen as steady, now appears distant and disconnected. Analysts note a fracture between promises made and realities, lived energy bills, stagnant wages, and a sense of abandonment. The people here aren't swayed by rhetoric, they measure action by impact. Watching this unfold, it's impossible to ignore the magnitude. A nation asserting itself, a political system being challenged, and a leadership at a crossroads. Calm observation reveals the truth. This is history in motion, and the message is crystal clear: trust must be earned. And right now, it's at stake. As dawn breaks over London, the streets tell the story. a nation awakened, refusing to be ignored. The chants may fade, but their echo lingers, a challenge to every leader, a reminder that power belongs to the people. Across the country, ordinary citizens replay these images, reflecting on promises broken and voices unheard. Tonight wasn't just a protest, it was a statement. Britain demands accountability, empathy, and action. And now the question hangs in the air: will the leadership listen, or will history remember this as the night they turned a deaf ear? The camera pans over faces, banners, and the Union Jack reclaimed not in celebration but in defiance. Every frame is a testament to the courage of ordinary people shaping extraordinary history. If you felt the weight of this moment, if you want to stay on top of Britain's unfolding story, subscribe and hit the bell. Join us as we follow the voices that refuse to be silenced, because the story isn't over and the people are still speaking.